Odric had always believed in order, in discipline, in faith. He had dedicated his life to protecting the people of Innistrad, leading the Gavany riders with an unwavering sense of duty. The battlefield had been his true home, the clash of steel against steel, the certainty of right and wrong. There were monsters in the dark, and he was one of the few men brave enough to fight them. That was the world as he had known it. That was the world as it should have remained. His faith had wavered only once when his son was torn from him. The werewolf had come in the night just as the stories warned. No prayers had stopped it. No holy relics had turned it away. His son's screams had haunted Odric's dreams for years. He had sworn then that he would never hesitate again. He would kill first, act first, strike first. And he had. For years, his sword cut down those who lurked in the shadows. His faith in Avacyn, the great protector, had burned brighter than ever. But faith is fragile, and when Avacyn was freed from the Hellvault, only to descend into madness, Odric had watched his world unravel. First, it was the Lunarch Council, the heart of the church. He had joined them after Micaeus' death, believing he could still serve, still fight for the light. He had been wrong. Corruption rotted the council from within, twisting faith into something unrecognizable. The Skiersdag cult had sunk its claws deep, controlling the church in secret. The realization had been a slow horror, creeping into Odric's bones like a sickness. He had fought for this church, killed for it, and all along it had been a lie. So he had fled. With Greta, his most trusted lieutenant, he joined Thalia and the Order of St. Traft, a last bastion against the darkness. But something inside him had cracked. He had always believed in justice, in the righteousness of his sword. Now every blow he struck felt uncertain. Every order he gave felt like a whisper in a storm. He had sworn to protect the people of Innistrad, but who was left to protect him? Then came Henrika Domnathi. Odric had thought he had seen the worst of Innistrad, the horrors that skulked in the shadows, the beasts that ripped men apart, the demons that whispered in the night. But Henrika was something else. She did not kill for hunger or instinct. She killed for amusement. Her presence on the battlefield was like a plague, a slow and inescapable death. When she and her followers descended upon them, Odric had fought harder than he had in years, and it still hadn't been enough. He could still hear Thalia's cries as the battle turned, the cold certainty that they would lose. Henrika's ritual was already beginning, the air thick with dark magic. Ormondal, the great horror, would rise again. Odric had been too slow, too weak, but there was one thing he could do. The blade meant for Thalia came down fast. He had no time to think, no time to weigh the consequences. He stepped forward, the steel sinking into him instead. The pain was white hot, but it was nothing compared to the cold realization of what came next. The battlefield blurred, his strength fading. Henrika was above him now, her face alight with curiosity. And then she bit him. Darkness swallowed him whole. When he woke, everything was different. The hunger was immediate, gnawing at him, filling every breath. But worse than the hunger was the silence. He had always felt Avacyn's presence, a distant but steady warmth, even in his worst moments. Now there was nothing, just absence, just emptiness. Thalia stood over him, sword in hand, ready to strike him down. He had seen that look before, on his own face, when he had stood over the corpses of those he had slain. Monsters. Was he one now? Then he noticed the moon. Its light should have burned, it should have seared his skin, sent him into agony like it did all vampires. But it didn't. Instead, it calmed him, brought him peace. He staggered to his feet. His sword was still in his hand, and it still shone. Something inside him had changed, yes, he was no longer human. But he wasn't like Henrika either. He wasn't like any of them. For the first time in years, he felt steady, whole. The faith he had lost had returned, not in the form of a distant god, but in something else. Something within him. He turned to Thalia. "I'm still me." She didn't lower her sword. "Prove it." So he did.